Yo, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Lycan Studios. So today we're going to be taking a look at the plot line review for episode number 2. Now notice I said plot line. This is not a leak in any way, shape, or form. I don't even think I mentioned the word leak in the previous video or put it in the description or the title, so I just want to clear that up. This is not a leak, this is just a fan theory. Now the reason that I'm actually reviewing this fan theory is just because all of the comments that it's been getting on Reddit and stuff are just amazing. Like, this guy tied in everything that I could think of so well. I know most of you guys kind of got upset about John dying in episode 1, but like I said, just wait till episode 2, we're going to clear it up. Also, a bunch of people were mentioning like why the fact that John would be just kind of hanging out at White Harbor knowing that the army of the dead is marching towards Winterfell. Well, I'm thinking maybe they were just like stocking up on stuff. Maybe they were just docked for just a little bit or something like that, and they were just kind of enjoying their time. Like, I feel like it could definitely happen. Like, maybe it was just one of those things they were just like kind of caught up in the moment, like loving each other and stuff. You never know. I think it could make sense. And lastly, the big thing about John actually going to King's Landing by himself. I honestly think they could easily portray it as in, like, basically there's going to be no way of defeating the White Walkers unless they have more people. So John, knowing this and as dedicated as he is to stopping the White Walkers, probably the most dedicated out of everybody, he could decide easily to go and talk to Cersei himself. As smart as John is, he has shown to be a little naive sometimes, so I feel like it could happen, but that probably is like the biggest thing about this theory, like, that I'm not too sure if it could or not. But anyways, like I said in episode 1, these are just really fun things to talk about. Like, we have a long time before the actual season's going to air, so we're going to end up talking about anything and everything, and this just seemed like something fun to talk about. So real quick, before we get into the script, I just wanted to tell you guys that today's shout out of the video goes to Abby Tabby. I really appreciate it. You've been watching all my videos lately, commenting, liking, and all that good stuff, so I just wanted to say thanks. It really means a lot. Definitely be sure to smash that thumbs up button. We're going to put another goal of 200 likes on this video. We've almost hit it on the last one. I really appreciate it, guys. You are fantastic. If you're subscribed to the channel, always liking and commenting on videos, you will definitely have a shot at being featured in the shout out on one of my next videos. And last but not least, be sure to follow us on Twitter. We're going to be doing some giveaways very soon. We are almost to 10,000. It's absolutely insane. But without further ado, let's jump into episode 2's script. Alright, so episode 2, the Night King's army is still advancing. Carhold is overrun by the Night King and White Walkers. The Night King's army grows and grows. Euron's fleet lands in Essos and they meet with the Golden Company. The two forces are uniting and make preparations to head back to Westeros to help Cersei. Meanwhile, Theon is still at sea, closing in on him. Cersei will be bragging and rejoicing with Qyburn, Bronn, and the Mountain, laughing about how foolish the Starks are and that her little brother is finally proving useful. That's one less dragon they have to worry about, and one less usurper, the king in the north. Bronn will be disgusted by this, not sure if he will leave or be killed by the Mountain when trying to leave. They will make mention that Jon's body is being returned to the north as a warning and reminder of who is the true queen of Westeros. Cersei may ask Qyburn, how is the newest experiment going? Some time passes, and Jon's body arrives at Winterfell to be put in the crypts. Arya is finally reunited with Jon, but he is dead and his heart is stopped, a foreshadowed line from season 7 by Sansa. Tyrion tries to console Dany and advises her that there is another way to reach peace with Cersei and the Lannisters. Dany should marry him. With their houses bound, then Cersei would be more inclined to help. Tyrion even says that they can claim her child as his, and he will raise it as his own. If they are married, the child will still have a rightful claim to the throne in Casterly Rock. Legacy and succession was mentioned multiple times this season between the two of them. Also, it might prevent Cersei from harming the child, as kinslaying is still, theoretically, a no-no. Dany rejects Tyrion's proposal, and especially the timing of it. Disgusted by him and his actions, this scene will basically be a mirror to the scene where Littlefinger brought Ned's bones, her body, to Cat and tried to convince her to be with him. I think his line was something like, "Fate has given us this opportunity," or something like that. All of the characters from White Harbor and the North, Beric, Tormund, the Wildlings, and the Night's Watch, arrive at Winterfell for Jon's funeral, and more importantly, because the undead horde is drawing ever closer to it, and they must prepare their defenses. Jon's body is returned to the Winterfell crypts. While in the crypts, I think his body will be placed near Lyanna's initially, believing that that was his mother. They may even place her sword with him. Her sword will be revealed to actually be Dawn, the sword of Arthur Dayne. Ned never did return it. Speaking of Ned, with him and Jon finally being reunited, this leads to Bran and Sam revealed to everyone that Jon is actually Aegon Targaryen, and he had the rightful bloodline claim to the Iron Throne. A comment will likely be made that since he is gone and since he fathered no children, then the next in line would be Dany. Tyrion and Dany will exchange looks at the no children comment. Bran may also be looking knowingly at Dany. The Northern Lords will be bothered by this and will likely indicate that they will only follow someone from the Stark or North bloodline. Many or most will rally behind Sansa at this point. Arguing will ensue, and the Sansa supporters will face off against the Dany supporters. Beric will step forward and indicate that he realizes his purpose now, that the Lord of Light wants him to pass his soul to Jon and provide Westeros with the king it needs to unite the kingdoms in this dire time. In the books, this will be Undead Cat, and it will have more to do with her finally forgiving Jon, as she always blamed him for being Ned Stark's bastard, and now that she knows the truth, then she will pass her life to his in an act of redemption for how she mistreated him. Varys will protest loudly. He despises fire or blood magic above all else. He may even try to restrain or attack Beric. Many in attendance are horrified or bothered at the idea of bringing the dead back to life. They are currently in a war with the undead after all. Beric points out that he was helping them this whole time and he was a Fire White. Davos finally reveals that Jon has already been revived once before and was fully committed to stopping the Night King, which Dany confirms. The group will still be divided. Some will want Jon revived and others won't. It will likely lead to a tense division between the group. Arya and Sansa may even get into a heated argument at this point as well. Eventually, Dany and the others will pressure Beric to bring him back. Not sure if Sansa will agree as well though. Beric, or Catelyn in the book, exchanges their life and Jon is brought back again. Dany is overjoyed. Tyrion will have a grimace on his face and Varys is trembling and terrified. Ghost will happily be reunited with Jon once again. About time. As this will be the second time Jon has been brought back, he will start to experience memory loss similar to Beric. He will be confused and may not recognize a lot of people around him, even including Dany. He will not remember his name, and when he asks, everyone will actually inform him that he is Aegon Targaryen and he is the rightful king of Westeros. Everyone will bend the knee to him. They will inform him that the great fight with the undead is coming. Because of this, a dragon, or Targaryen, has been awoken from the stone crypt by Azor Ahai, Dany's command. Dany mentions that this was the final straw and she will make sure to execute Cersei as soon as she sees her. Speaking of executions, Dany will inform Jon that Varys should be executed, as she believes it was his idea to send Jon to meet with Cersei in the first place, and he was the one person protesting Jon's resurrection the hardest. Many in attendance will agree that this was treason. Some will demand a trial. Varys will look at Tyrion and realize that it was him who actually betrayed Jon. Not wanting his friend to be killed, and for the better of the realm, Varys will confess to betraying Jon and being a traitor. The Northern Lords will tell Jon, or Aegon, that the man who passes the sentence should swing the sword. Varys will give one last lingering look of sadness towards Tyrion. Tyrion will look saddened, and for a moment will almost speak out, but will ultimately remain silent. Jon will behead Varys using his new sword Dawn for treason as the episode ends. And there we have it, episode 2. So I know a lot of you guys are going to be definitely turned off by the idea of Jon being resurrected again, but I think it could definitely happen, and like I said, this is just a theory. Just imagine everybody watching from home, like who's just like the average viewer who doesn't really look into Game of Thrones like we all do, seeing Jon die once again and thinking that he's just done for the season. When he gets resurrected in episode 2, everybody will be freaking out once again. So I could honestly see that happening, and then also it kind of wraps up the fact like Tyrion must have been trying to push Jon to actually go see Cersei. Like there must be like a bunch more dialogue that he just didn't really include in his episode 1. Basically because they're saying that he ended up betraying Jon, pushing him to go to Cersei, knowing that he will be killed. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of this just because I don't want to see Tyrion being portrayed as a bad guy. Like I kind of hope he stays as a good guy throughout the rest of the show. I also am not too sure if he really would be that disheartened that Dany doesn't really love him. I don't really think he has a chance, and I kind of think he knows that. I'm not even too sure if he actually even really likes her. And last but not least, the one thing that I really can't see happening, like all of the rest, I could kind of see it happening. I guess they could definitely make it go that way. But Varys actually like giving his life for Tyrion, I don't see Varys really giving his life for anyone, honestly. Except possibly Dany, maybe. I'm not too sure. But anyways, definitely let me know what you thought about episode 2. This guy, like, you gotta admit, he put some serious thought into it. He's trying his best, and I think it's pretty cool. I know a lot of you guys are going to disagree with a lot of this, but this is just a theory, and it's just for discussion. Because like I said, we have a very long time before Season 8 actually airs, so we're going to be talking about anything and everything. But anyways, that's been the video. Stay tuned for episode 3, probably coming out around the same time tomorrow. I'm thinking like 1 to 2-ish, just depending on what I can get done. But anyways, make sure to smash that thumbs up button, leave a comment, create some discussion, and we'll see you guys in the next video. This has been Lycan Studios. Peace.